Hey guys. Sorry, no makeup on today. This is Lady Raven, the Wild Witch, and here we are for the Witches Inn. Um, I'm going to give a few minutes to see if anybody gets on, and then we'll go ahead and get started. I hope everybody had a great weekend. And as you can see, my week's starting a little slow today. So let's see. We got a couple people on already. And for those of you who are listening in on the podcast, I'm no longer hosting these on Facebook. Excuse me, Instagram. They're now on my YouTube channel. So I'm going to change the intro of the podcast to include that. So hopefully you guys will see that. So, all right, let's go ahead and get started. So welcome to the Witches Inn. And today we are going to kind of take advantage of that wonderful Sagittarius energy that just went into effect yesterday. So basically, I think the title of today is Sagittarius Takes the Wheel. But essentially, it's to kind of try to tap into the energies of this season with Sagittarius so that we can kind of use some of that to help us to get through the holidays. That's really the purpose of what I want to talk about today. So first, let's talk about Sagittarius as a whole and what Sagittarius actually means and what it represents. Now, keep in mind, if you have Sagittarius in your chart, this is going to basically be reflected in where Sagittarius appears, right? So, for example, for me, I have Sagittarius as a rising sign. So it is part of one of my top 3 signs, in the chart. So for me, Sagittarius appears in the face that I show the world and how I interact with people. This is kind of where Sagittarius comes into play for me. So depending on where it is for you, if it's your sun sign, that is an essence of who you are and your personality and kind of what you do, basically. If it's in your moon sign, it's how you engage people in relationships. And if it's in a rising sign like me, basically it's kind of like what you appear to be to the world. So for example, I'm a Capricorn sun sign, but I appear to the world as a Sagittarius. So, and there's a lot of things that it's not just how the world sees you, but there's other things that a rising sign can do to support your primary sun sign. So we're going to talk about that very little bit because today the focus is on Sagittarius. So Sagittarius season normally starts between the 20th to the 21st of November, and it runs until the 20th to the 21st of December. Pretty easy there. And then in which case what follows that is, Capricorn, yay, me. And Sagittarius is a fire sign. And its ruling planet is Jupiter. So let's think about that for a minute. So Jupiter is the planet of expansion, of growth, of protection, of basically wanting more, of abundance, of manifestation. All of those are things that come in with Jupiter. And so in Sagittarius, on top of that, has the fire on top of it. So it's this drive to grow, to know more, to expand, to be more. A lot of times Sagittarius is called the great wanderer because Sagittarius is in essence the explorer. It's no wonder that the symbol is shown with an arrow, right? Because where am I going to go to next? Sagittarius doesn't want to stay where they are. They are always looking to the future. They're always looking to see where they want to go. The other thing that's important is Sagittarius is a mutable sign. So in the zodiac, there's 3 different types of signs, and if you can kind of tell which one it is by where in the year it falls into, right? So you have, if you think about each season of the year, summer, spring, fall, and winter, you're going to have the cardinal signs are going to be the signs that are heading in the beginning of the season. So they're basically the ones that open the door to that season. And then in the middle sign is going to be the fixed sign. The one is going to be carrying the weight of that season. They're going to be the ones that do everything that season that comes behind that season. And then finally, you're going to have your mutable signs, which are the ones that are going to be closing that season. So for Sagittarius is a mutable sign for fall. So Sagittarius means it closes out fall. So a mutable sign generally means it's a sign that is good with change and wants change, constant change. A lot of times these mutable signs are referred to as the great editors of the zodiac, because if something didn't go right in the past, before they close out the season, they can go, oh, we're going to go back and we're going to change this and we're going to do this and we're going to do this. So when you're looking at, let's say, the cardinal signs, that if you want to look at those, they are Aries, which kicks off spring, Cancer, which kicks off summer, Libra, which kicks off fall, and Capricorn, which kicks off the winter time. And so from then you're going to move into your fixed signs, and then your fixed signs are going to be Taurus, which is going to carry that energy of spring. Leo is going to carry summer. Scorpio is going to carry fall, and Aquarius is going to carry winter. And then you move into your mutable signs, which are the signs that are going to close off each season. And for mutable, you're going to have Gemini is going to close off spring, Virgo closes summer, Sagittarius closes fall, and Pisces closes winter. So when we start looking at the bigger picture of what Sagittarius means, we have all this Jupiter energy, expansion, all of that. We have the fire that pushes us to keep moving forward, right? That's that drive, that energy, that change. Fire is big on change. And then on top of it, it's a mutable sign. So it's a mutable sign that means it likes change. It thrives in change, and it pushes change forward, either in itself or on the others. So those are some major characteristics for Sagittarius. The other thing that I think is important to understand about Sagittarius is that while Sagittarius loves this change, Jupiter is also sometimes considered the planet of knowledge, right? Because it's this thirst for expansion of everything, including knowledge. I want to learn more. I want to read more. I want to understand more. I want to gain this wisdom. I want to get things, right? So Jupiter wants things. So it wants to have more money, more life, more knowledge, more wisdom, more sex, more everything that you can possibly imagine. Jupiter is the planet of more. And so its home sign is Sagittarius. So Sagittarius becomes the sign of more. And it's fired up in more. So the more it gets, the more it wants. So it's kind of like this constant drive, but it's really not in a bad way. It's not like, I want everything and I want others to have nothing. Sagittarius feels the need to push the world forward, to know more, to feel more, to do more. So Sagittarius a lot of times is going to be a sign that's going to kind of push us out of our comfort zone. They're going to step in and say, oh, no, don't do that. You need to start moving this, and this, which leads us to the detriment part of it, right? So Sagittarius is in its detriment in Mercury. The planet Mercury is detriment in Sagittarius, which means that is this weakest point, which a lot of times that translates into Sagittarius loves to talk. And Sagittarius also gives great advice, but doesn't take any. So it's that sign that wants to see others break free from their prisons. They want to see others move forward and do better and achieve what they want to achieve their dreams. Sagittarius believes that more is not just for themselves, but it's more for everyone. Everyone should reach for the stars. Everyone should achieve their dreams, right? And so it's going to give you great advice on how to do that. But God forbid you want to try to give Sagittarius some advice on how to do that. That's not going to be received well, because Sagittarius believes that it knows everything and it's going to do more and be more. And this is kind of what it does. So what are the lessons that we ourselves can take from Sagittarius right now? So I like to equate that to where we are in the year, right? So we look at the wheel of the year, the way that it turns. And in paganism, that's pretty much one of the things, especially in witchcraft, that we kind of live by, the seasons. So if you look at the spring as a time of new growth, summer is the time that we mature. We get our, learn all the youthful things, learn how to be adults, how to be people. And the fall is the season that we are the adults. This is our responsibility. This is where we harvest and make sure that we have things for the winter. And then you move into the winter, which is going to be our crone years, right? Our years of wisdom and being able to pass on what we've learned. So it's a complete birth, adolescence, adulthood, eldership cycle for the whole year. And you look at Sagittarius comes in and it's at the end of that adulthood cycle and moving into eldership. But also, if you look, that is what Sagittarius brings. If you look at where we are in the year itself, we are closing out the fall right now, which means what? The fall is a big harvest of the year, which may be that at times we kind of tend to look back and say, what are the things that we planned to do this year that we didn't do? And this can be a time where we tend to beat ourselves up, shoulda, coulda, woulda. I should have done this. I could have done better with this. I should have done that. This is what I did. This is what I did that wasn't good. This becomes the beating up ourselves time of the year, which then you move into holiday season, with family who probably gets along or doesn't, and all the stress that comes along with holiday season, right? If you have a job in a retail industry or anything related to sales, it is the busiest time of the year for you. If you don't, if you have a regular job but you have kids, it's the time of the year that you have to figure out what the hell am I going to do with kids now because they're going to be out of school. So there's a lot of stress involved during this time. And because of this stress, sometimes it can add on to that pressure of going, making us feel that we are defeated, making us feel like, shit, didn't accomplish as much as I wanted to this year, didn't do all the things that I wanted to do this year. So Sagittarius is the energy that's going to tap into us right now and say, don't be discouraged. This was one year in many. And there are opportunities coming for you. Whatever you didn't do this year is an opportunity. You can take that, you can turn that around and decide, how am I going to do this better in the year to come? How am I going to improve that in the year to come? So there's a lot of things that Sagittarius can teach us in that regard. So it's this quest for ever growing, ever balancing, ever changing what it is that we're doing in our lives, that Sagittarius is going to bring into us and say, don't look to the back, don't look behind you for what happened and live there and wallow there. Take those lessons, learn from them, but then look to the future and look to see, how can I implement this in my life in a bigger, better, and more improved way. So that's one of the things that Sagittarius is going to help us to do in this season. So how is it that you can take those energies and you can implement them in your life? So let's say you didn't get everything that you wanted to accomplish in this year, right? And right now let's say if you started a business, or if you're, whatever it is that you decided to do, if you started a home improvement project, everything comes to a halt when you're coming into the holiday season. So there's a lot of things that are going to start slowing down now just because of the holidays, unless you're in retail. If you're in retail, things are insane right now, which means nothing else in your life can get done because you are in retail and this is all that you're doing right now. So holidays are stressful for just about everybody. So when you look at all these things that you thought you could do and you weren't able to complete, so let's make a list of that. And that can become your project list for winter. Winter is going to be our downtime. Winter is going to be the time that we're going to recover. So instead of sitting here and letting that energy kind of bring you down of what it is that you didn't accomplish, write all of those things down and make it your to-do list for what are you going to do in your downtime, so that when spring comes, you are up and ready to go and ready to move forward in whatever it is that you wanted to do. So that is one of the lessons that Sagittarius brings us during this time. Another lesson that Sagittarius brings us is the lesson that maybe the things that you're trying to do are not the right things for you. So try something else, try something different. Let's say you've been trying to start a certain business for a few years in a row now, and every single year you do it and it doesn't work. Maybe this is the year to take a step back and go, all right, what is wrong here? Why does this not work? Number one. And what are the failures that I keep having? Am I going about it in the right way? Is this maybe a match for me? Because one of the things that happens a lot of times for us is when we are walking in our purpose, the universe opens doors for us. When we are not walking in our purpose, the universe makes it really hard for us to walk that path. Why? Because the universe wants us to be in purpose. It wants us to do the things that we are meant to do, the things that we are going to thrive in this world. So when you start focusing on things that are not part of your purpose, a lot of times the universe says, it tries to slow you down so that you will give up on that and hopefully take up the things that are going to make you successful in this lifetime. So if you look back at that and say, what is it that I'm doing that's not working? So is it the way that I'm approaching the business, or if you're starting a new business, or is it the business itself? So to give you a perfect example, I thought for a while there, I think it was probably a period of about 3, maybe 4 years, I had decided that I was going to move my business into the realm of wholesale because I thought that this is where I needed to be. This is where I'm going to make more money. This is where the business is going to thrive. And it seems like every single time I started moving into that direction, things happened and things got in the way and things said, no, don't do that, and so I tried for probably a good 3 years, and I was like, why is it that I can't seem to move forward in this? Why is it that moving my business into wholesale is so difficult? So I took a step back and said, you know what? I'm just going to let things develop on their own. I'm going to stop pushing in that direction. And I'm going to wait and see how this is going to open and how this is going to develop. And so as I waited to see how that opened, what opened up for me was the academy, right? So my life path is already in teaching. And the idea of opening up a school had never really occurred to me until I stopped pushing in the direction of wholesale business and devoting all of my energy to that. And then said, oh my God, this is really where my passion is, number one. But second, this is a way that I can do much better than that. And I can contribute in a much better way into my path, into society, doing it this way. So the question is, a lot of times, let's say if you're trying to start a new business venture and if you're finding resistance, it may not necessarily mean that that business venture is not for you. It may mean that the audience and the way that you're trying to start it is not the right way for you to go about doing it. So if you're starting an online business, maybe online's not the way to do it. Maybe try to go into your local community. Maybe there's a community support locally to you that's going to require you to step out of your comfort zone. Because this is the other thing Sagittarius brings us. Sagittarius does not want us to stay home. It does not want us to be in our comfy place. It does not want us to be where we know everything and we feel great about everything. Sagittarius is about pushing our boundaries and saying, let's try something different. Let's try something that we are not comfortable with. So I'm sitting here and going, I want to grow something and I'm going to do it. I'm going to grow it in this little bubble that I'm used to, where I am very comfortable. And this is my little world here. And you've been trying to grow it in that bubble for a few years now. And all of a sudden you realize you can't. And why can't you? That's not where the business needs to be. So maybe step out of that and say, let me step into community. Let me step into maybe, instead of selling online, let me do shows and festivals and things to that effect. Maybe that way my business will do well. And the same thing if you are trying to see clients face to face. Maybe that's not where you need to be. Maybe you're the person who's going to be seeing clients online. Try to figure out, how can I do that? How can I reach the audience that is going to need to find me online rather than local? So a lot of times it's not necessarily that you're not being successful because the business that you're doing is not the business you should be in, but maybe it's the way that you are going about it that is not working right. So Sagittarius comes in to push our buttons. It comes in to tell us, stop doing what you're doing. Stop repeating the same things. Try something different. Either try a new business, try doing the business in a different way, try tweaking your goals of how you're going to do the business, right? So let's say you are a yoga person and you decide that you want to do yoga classes. You got your yoga certification and you're going to start teaching yoga and you want to do yoga classes. And you keep finding out that you can't do it. It just doesn't work out for you that way. Maybe tweak it and say, okay, wait a minute. Why did I get into this? Did I get into it for, do I want to teach classes? Is that the goal? But what is the overall goal? Maybe my goal is to work with people one-on-one and explain to them how yoga can be incorporated into their daily lives, almost like a treatment therapy plan for themselves to release stress, to feel better. And maybe what you need to do, your market is not going out and teaching classes. Maybe your market is going in and seeing clients one-on-one and scheduling private sessions with people to really understand and feel better and have that yoga experience that's tailored to them. So there's a lot of different ways that we can take the things that we're doing right now that we're maybe not succeeding at and turn them around into things that we will succeed at. That is the second lesson that Sagittarius brings us. And the third lesson that Sagittarius brings us is to not stay in one place all the time. So we have to grow. And a lot of times that is another reason why things sometimes don't start moving forward, because we've been doing the same thing for a long time. And if you don't grow as a person, as a professional, as a mom, as a wife, as a friend, then just repetitive over and over and over doing the thing that you're doing is not really going to be good for you. So go out, make new friends. Go out and step outside the box in your parenting. Say, hey, let's try something different with my family. Maybe all the parenting things that I've tried so far haven't been working. My kids and I aren't getting along. Let's try something different. Or even in your marriage, let's try something different between me and my husband. Let's go on a crazy trip that we've never done before. Let's do something. Let's shake it up and move things around a little bit to add a little bit of that fiery energy back in that's going to bring back the drive and the energy to be able to want to push things forward. So Sagittarius is about stepping out of our comfort zone, 100%. So you add that into the stresses of the holidays. So maybe it talks about not doing things the same time that you're doing it every single year. Mom wants you to come over for Thanksgiving, and you know you're going to go over there, and there's going to be a big family there, and they're all going to fight. So maybe you can't go to Thanksgiving at her house. Maybe you call her and say, hey, Mom, you know what? Can't go this year, but hey, would you like to come over to my place the next day, and we can have a nice small celebration with just us, which is really going to focus on the blessings of Thanksgiving, of being with the people that you love without having all of that other stuff that you maybe don't want to incorporate, right? Or maybe you're alone for Thanksgiving this year and you go, oh, you know what? I've been alone every year. I spend Thanksgiving by myself. Maybe this year you host Thanksgiving for your friends. There are plenty of people out there that are spending it by themselves. So this year you host it and you bring them to you. They come over and they become your family for Thanksgiving. So this is a time to say holidays are difficult. It reminds us of the things that we've lost. It reminds us of the people that we've lost. So this year, don't do things the same way that you've done it. This year, maybe shake it up a little bit, do things in a different way, start new traditions so that the season will truly be something that will bring joy to you instead of frustration and anxiety and all of that. So I think that is one of the best lessons that we can learn from Sagittarius, which is decide what you want to do and go for it, even if it means stepping outside of your comfort zone. And just because something didn't work out, it doesn't mean that you failed. You only fail when you stop trying. Sagittarius is the key of starting to try again. I see a lot of people who don't try enough. They go, they do one thing, they fail, they go home, says, well, tried it, didn't work, boom, boom, that's it. And you never really get somewhere when you do it that way. So for example, in my case, I had 7 failed businesses before I had a successful one. 7. I knew I wanted to be a business owner. I knew there was something that I wanted to do. I knew I did not want to work for other people for the rest of my life. It just took me a long time to find out what that business was going to be. So you can do the same thing for yourself. Just because something is not working, it doesn't mean you stop trying. And that is the lesson from Sagittarius. I hope you guys have a great week. One thing I want to say before I close out is that the giveaway that we did, that person has not stepped up yet to claim their prize. So I'm going to wait. And if somebody doesn't step up again, next week, I'm going to put another message out on social media that they need to come in. And if they don't step up next week, I'm going to do another drawing because I do not want my raffle to be without a winner. So I will do another drawing from everybody else to see who wins the raffle for the $100 giveaway. So anyway, I hope everybody has a fantastic week. And don't forget to join me tomorrow at the Raven Moon Emporium Instagram account for the live sale that's going to have tools to help you with the things that we talked about today. All right, guys, take care. Bye-bye.